Okay, looks like we're live on YouTube. Thank you, Vatsala. I think we'll need access.
Yes.
Perfect. Hi, Nag. Good morning.
Hello.
All right. I think we have most of our folks. We'll give folks a couple of minutes and we'll get started. I see we have a couple of folks waiting as well. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. All right. As we start, we'll usually have a few minutes before we kickstart the actual program because we want to give various mentees and mentors time to join. Okay, I see the waiting room getting populated. Suneet, Ram, and Sai, are we ready?
We are.
Okay. Great. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us today, both on YouTube as well as in the call. I'm going to start off this 2023 MentorConnect with Ram giving us a little bit of background on ASCI. Hi, Ram.
Hello, Ram.
Hello, Vanakkam, Namaste, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody, wherever you are. On behalf of the National Board of ASCI, American Society of Engineers of Indian Origin, we'd like to welcome you to this kickoff of the 2023 MentorConnect program. So we'll start with a quick look at the agenda. And before I do that, I usually like to throw out a quote. So I saw my mom this morning just before this meeting, and I asked her for an author. And I didn't give her the background. So she said Perry Mason. Well, that's going to be a tough one, so I didn't pick up on that. But I'm going to share a quote from Rabindranath Tagore, who says, "The highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with our existence." So a little bit more holistic on what mentoring and coaching is about. And with that, I'd like to say welcome to the kickoff. Sai? So really quick, a quick welcome. We're going to introduce you a little bit to ASCI, take a couple of minutes, and then Sai will talk about MentorConnect. And then we have a wonderful panel. Just looking at the panel, I think one of the requirements is they all have to have excellent hair. So that was an interesting pick on that. But really good panel discussion, which will be moderated by Sumit from the DC chapter. Sai will go over the program logistics, and then we'll take a look at what's next. Slide. So for those of you who may or may not know about ASCI, ASCI is actually the oldest engineering society started for Indians of Americans of Indian origin. It was started back in 1983. We're in our 40th year. And so there's a lot of opportunity to network and grow. So the vision was to network technical professionals, and then the goal was to nurture and grow technical professionals as well. So next slide. Okay, so this is really the one slide I'm going to talk to about ASCI. I know it's a little busy, but it's a little less busy than it was a couple of days ago. So if you look around the bottom, you will kind of see that we go across the spectrum. We start from middle school to high school, then we go into earlier, universities, early career, mid-career, and then senior professionals. And the programs we have, we start with what we call youth technology expositions. STEM programs, science fairs, etc. for kids in school. We have college on college campuses. We have ASCI chapters. That's University Connect. And then really the flagship program, which we're all here to talk about today, which is MentorConnect. And that goes pretty much starting from university all through retirees, because there's an opportunity to give back as well. And then we have an ongoing engineering tales, getting real with engineers, lots of programs that tie into the three boxes on top. So we have national conventions, a great opportunity. Usually you have 300 to 400 people meeting in town. This year it happens to be in Detroit. So there's career fairs. You can meet with industry leaders. We do monthly meetings, symposiums, summits, and then there's a recognition as well. So people are able to get their professional development hours through attending ASCS seminars. So for professional engineers in particular, it should be really rewarding to do that. We've got ASCI awards, etc. So that's kind of a high spectrum of the activities that we do through ASCI. And with that, I'm going to turn to Sai, because we all have mentorship programs. And the question is, why through ASCI? Thank you, Sai. So as he's trying to unmute here, there you go. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ram. My name is Sai Kupisetti, and I'm part of the ASCI Michigan chapter. I just want to talk a little bit about mentoring and why mentoring through ASCI. So I'll be preaching to the choir on the importance of mentoring, but in any mentoring program, you fundamentally grow your network. You work through your mentor to gain in technical insights, your own self-assessment. You learn many soft skills, and all these result in building confidence and leadership. And you have many options through your workplace and other professional societies to get mentorship. Why mentor through ASCI? And that's something that we feel proud of. I mean, we have a very big network of senior executives across industries. So not through not one company, one industry. It's across industries, covering a spectrum of technologies. We have cultural and ethnic match to where you come from. We do hand selection of what your interests are with your mentors. And we are hoping that this will help pave the path for your own personal growth and professional leadership. In terms of the ASCI MentorConnect program itself, it's a one-on-one mentorship program. We have, it is targeted towards engineers and technology professionals from early to mid-career. We have people starting from university all the way to later in their career. A lot of our mentors are either mid-career to senior executives, and some of them are retired and then giving back to the community. Mentors are drawn from all the industries. You have people ranging from managers up to CEO level, and very broad representation of industries all over the US. So it's a 6-month program. We expect at least 3 to 4 interactions between each mentor and mentee. And it is open to ASCI members only. You can easily become one, and students are welcome to join as well. I'd like to thank the team behind this MentorConnect program. I have Dave, Sanjay, Sumit, Kush, Akshay, Ram, Divya, and Venkat, all working very hard to ensure that we launch this program and do the pairing from our excellent mentor pool. So with that, I'll pass it on to Sumit to introduce the panel for today.
Thank you, Sai. And it's my honor to be here at this event and be the moderator for MentorConnect 2023. With that, I would like to start introducing our panel members. Ashok, I'm going to start with you. Ashok is an experienced C-suite executive with 35 years of experience. He's famously known as the turnaround specialist. He's the founder of eCube, where he leverages his skills and experience to train the leaders of next generation. Ashok was born in Kerala and has a multicultural, or I should say diverse upbringing. He grew up in Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Bengal, did his graduation from IIT BHU, postgrad from IIM Ahmedabad. He grew up, he's passionate about giving back to the society from a space of fulfillment and gratitude. And his love for teaching, mentoring, and coaching is the affirmation for that. Today, he's joining us from the West Coast, but he likes calling India his home. He lives in Chennai with his wife, parents, and both his daughters are overseas. We are fortunate to have Divya, one of his daughters, in this session today. Welcome, Ashok, and over to you to talk a bit about your professional journey.
Thank you, Sumit, for that lovely introduction. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So firstly, I noted that ASCI was founded in 1983. So congratulations on your 40th anniversary.
Thank you, Ashok.
It's a privilege for me to be a member of this vibrant panel and also for the opportunity to speak to the vastly next generation. So to add on to my intro, I was a board member of a National Chamber of Commerce, board member of a national standards organization, and I've spent about 12 years in C-suite. I have held senior roles in manufacturing, in marketing and sales, in diverse domains, steel making, roll forming, packaging, and real estate. So post my retirement, I took up a visiting professorship in Management Institute in India. And I also began my journey as a coach. I'm a credentialed PCC coach of the International Coach Federation, and I've had over 800 hours of coaching experience. I look forward to this opportunity to interact with the next generation and help them out in their professional career choice as well as moving forward. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ashok. With that, I would like to move on to our next panelist, Nag. Nag is a seasoned professional with over 30 years of experience in the tech industry. He is currently serving as the CTO of Hexure. Nag was born in Bengaluru and moved to the US in '95. Currently, he lives in Chicago with his wife, kids, parents, and in-laws, or in his own words, all four parents. He is deeply passionate about giving back to the Indian community, and him serving as the board member of IACS and the president of Pratham is the testimony for that. Welcome, Nag, and over to you to talk a little bit about your professional journey.
Thanks, Sumit. And again, congrats on the 40th anniversary. It means a lot, right? That we've been able to sustain this organization and provide a way to give back to so many of us who want to do different things in their career. So like you said, grew up in Chicagoland, but I have a good background in multiple industries. Started in the battery industry in India with Amco Yuasa, then went to British Aerospace, where I worked in England with British Aerospace before coming to the US. Worked in the PNC insurance industry with Allstate for a long time. And then the midlife crisis hit. So went over to the Nordics. I was in Denmark and Norway for a long time. Came back to the New York area, which was a different country for me. And then from there, came back to Chicagoland. The current space where I work in, it's based in Colorado Springs. So I enjoy the beauty of the mountains in Colorado now. So that's something I'm very passionate about, just seeing nature and what it has to offer, because humans and nature is what makes up what we do every day, right? So I do like giving back, looking forward to this panel, and please do reach out to me in any way I can help. I will definitely do that, because I've been fortunate in my journey in terms of people helping me grow to who I've become today. So thank you.
Thank you, Nag. Thank you for the introduction. Moving on to our next panelist, Ritu. Ritu is a tech professional with about 30 years of experience, and she's based out of the Bay Area. She's serving as a strategic advisor to DataGrill and multiple other startups, which include SmithRx and Rootstock Software. She was born in Delhi, raised in the Middle East, and moved to the US after her education from London. She is strongly connected to her roots, which led her to co-found Aparajita, a non-profit organization which is one of its kind in the West Coast. And I'm going to let Ritu talk about it and do justice to it. Apart from that, she's also a part of Tech Women organization, which is led by the US government. And she also indulges in mentoring emerging leaders from South Asian communities through various platforms. Welcome, Ritu, and over to you to talk a bit about Aparajita and your professional journey.
Thank you, Sumit. That was awesome. Congratulations again on 40 years. That's a long way that the community has come, and a long way to go, I'm sure. So congratulations and good luck for the future. I'm really honored to be on this panel because it is multifaceted. You have brought people from different backgrounds who are very tenured in their own areas and are willing to give back to the community. So I'm deeply honored to be on this panel. A little bit about my professional career. I have been an engineering leader for the last 30 years, primarily running engineering teams globally in India, in US, in China, in Europe, in Canada. So when I look back at my past, I'm like, oh my God, I really have covered the globe almost except Africa. But I would like to do that at some point. I enjoy, mentoring and coaching. I've done that professionally and personally. I enjoy doing that. Tech Women is just a part of that. I do a lot of advising in general, but recently, as of this year, I have started becoming a strategic advisor to a lot of startups. And each of them that I'm working with is different. Some of them are in the ERP space, doing fintech, supply chain management. Another one that I'm working with is in the pharmacy software. The third one that I'm working with is building a platform, right, to exchange data. So they're all very different. And, if there are mentees on this forum that want to know more, connect with me here or through LinkedIn. I'm happy to help in any way. Aparajita means somebody who does not lose, the winner, right? And this is a women-led program. When we started this journey, we were told that women priests cannot do Durga Puja. That's in a very small way how we started it. And the minute I hear that something can't be done, I'm like, why not? Right? Who made these rules? So that's how this organization actually came into being. We just became a nonprofit. We are the only women priests in the Bay Area that do Durga Puja. So we are starting to get very well known. So we do the Navratri, the 5 days, follow the process just like India. And that's just the start of our journey.
That is great, and it's a wonderful work that you're doing, especially the Indian community in the West Coast is big, and you guys organizing it would be a different experience altogether.
Absolutely, yeah. We are getting bigger now, and we have more than 500 people a day that actually come and visit us. So if you're ever in the Bay Area during that time, you're absolutely welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Ritu. Moving on to our next panelist, Srini. Srini is an experienced professional with 26 years of experience. He's the founder and CEO of Digital Secure. He was born in Andhra Pradesh, raised in Chennai, and later he moved to the US for his education. He currently resides in Chicago with his family, and like our other members on the panel, he is very passionate about giving back to the community, which motivated him to co-found the Indo-American organization, IACS, about which he's going to talk later in today's session. Thank you, Srini, for being here and welcome. Over to you to talk a bit about your professional journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much for, I'm honored to be here with among the such accomplished panelists and congratulations for 40 years, completing 40 years. It's a big accomplishment. And as I know, we are, ISCS is about 13 years now. So we know, how hard it is to maintain such a organization like that, and bringing people together and giving something back for the professionals and leaders. My journey, again, like Sumit mentioned, I am from Andhra Pradesh, then studied and grew up in Chennai. Went to Ramanujam Institute of Advanced Study and Mathematics there. Came to US in 85. Went to for studying here computer science, and then I worked for a company. It's an insurance company. I came out as a vice president of information systems there. I always passionate about really on my professional side, where I really wanted to work for Nokia, Alcatel-Lucent, Bell Labs is like my dream. It doesn't matter what position I am in. So that's why I went to that company and worked there for almost 22 years. And I was leading the 3G, 4G services there. Exactly there, I was looking at, I was part of the Asian American BRG, business group, and I was leading that for a few years. And I felt that, this such an organization like this has to be outside of Lucent, where it can help much more, and many other people as well. So companies, people from different companies can participate and share their experiences, knowledge, and being able to help each other. Is the concept how we started this Indo-American Community Services, and NAG, and we are really fortunate to have NAG, Soma, Naga, and many of the executives from several organizations, diverse companies being part of the organization and supporting us. So I would look forward to speaking more about the ISCS. And back to you, Sumit. Thank you for, again, honored to be here.
Thank you, Srini. And without further delay, I would now like to jump into the questions that we have for today. Ashok, I'm going to start with you. So the first question is, what are the key lessons you have learned in your professional journey, and how have you used it so far? Ashok, you're on mute.
Thank you, Sumit. When I go back down memory lane and try to answer your question, one thing comes up very loudly and clearly. I was fortunate enough to apply all the lessons that I've learned in my professional journey in one episode not too long ago. That was at the fag end of my career. And I was heading this residential real estate developing company. The marketing and sales team had done a wonderful job of selling something like 350 out of 480 apartments in the first phase. We were on the verge of launching our second phase of another 350 apartments. It was all gung-ho. The engineering and construction department was very proactive. They had finalized the specifications for the second phase. They went ahead, tendered for the construction, got the commercial technical bids, evaluated them, and so we knew in which direction we were heading. One fine day, the general manager of marketing and sales and the chief engineer got together, and they decided that they would harness and leverage the happiness that was around the project site to kickstart the second phase through a testimonial program that would spur sales for the second phase. They decided that they would use the pool side for a grand gala get-together with our customers. And that happened, went without a hitch. We had lovely feedback. All customers promised that they would bring on board various other friends, relations, and so on. And then, Sumit, the disaster happened. The following morning, there was no water in the pool. It had all leaked out. The basement utility infrastructure was flooded. The yoga center was damaged. The gym also had a lot of damage, and the lobby area was looking like a tributary of a river. Naturally, there was gloom everywhere. Then the social media sites, they were rife with guys who can't deliver quality, what is this premium development, and so on and so forth. I urgently called for a meeting, and as luck would have it, the mindset was, sir, we will investigate, we will nail the person, we will charge penalties, we will stop payments, and so on. Now, that was the mindset that prevailed. What went on in my mindset was, our brand is getting eroded. And we need to correct that. The real goal is to get and kickstart phase 2. So I posed a question to all of them. Aren't we also equally responsible or irresponsible, me included? Have we gone through standard operating procedures? Have we done due diligence? Was the pool really handed over and taken over? Is there evidence of it? There was a stony silence. That's the time I said that there will be no repercussion of any kind, no penalty, no nothing. Just reach out to the contractors, seek their support. We are vulnerable. Let's be authentic. Reach out to them for their help. The following day, the chief engineer came up to me, sir, I need your help. I said, tell me what I can do. And he said, sir, can you reach out to a few major contractors, speak to the CEOs concerned, and seek their support? I did that. I went a step further and I said, see, we must overcome this hurdle. The phase 2 is happening, and you would be preferred partners. Though the bids have been opened, we are a private company, so we would regard you as preferred partners. That worked wonders. To make a long story short, in less than 3 days, the problem areas were identified. You're all engineers. The problem was a non-standard coupling. I don't know from where the vendor brought it, but the electrical gadgets that were, to light up underwater areas were faulty. They were actually leading to leaks, and the concrete was cracked at one pace. 2 of those items got fixed in a matter of a week. The concrete needed to be dried out, and they went in for epoxy grouting in order to seal the cracks. But the job was done. At the end of it, we were able to recommission the pool, and I suggested that we invite the vendors also and the contractors to the next meeting to kickstart phase 2. And that was another gala event. Social media talked about magic. The magic created was such that we were able to recover lost ground, not to the expectation that we had, but things went off well. So what are the learnings from this? In an environment of fear, there is a lot of unproductive. You cannot be productive in an environment of fear. Failure is a part of life. Take it, overcome it, and learn from your mistakes. The third, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and you need to reframe and think differently. in such cases, usually what happens is people don't reach out for support. So when you are in trouble, reach out for support. Be authentic, be vulnerable. You will get help. The other is we tend to react. So the reaction of nailing and so on was not the proper way to go about. There is a need to respond, and you can respond to a situation. So these are all a number of wonderful learnings that I have had. And collaboration and co-creation with the various contractors actually led to a very speedy solution. We moved from a problem-centric to a solution-centric mindset. I think during the course of this discussion and meeting, I'm sure I'd be happy to relate to what I have learned and how I have applied and answered this question. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ashok. And my takeaway from this story would also be ownership.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I would like to ask Nag and Ritu, what is your take? And would you like to add on to what Ashok has said?
I think absolutely. I think great example, great storytelling on that. I think I want to highlight another thing is building that safe space to have the conversation is very, very important, because the minute people feel that their jobs are at risk or they're going to get screamed at or whatever the repercussion is going to be, guess what? They're not going to get and tell you the root cause. But if you give them a safe space, like Ashok did, saying, hey, there's no repercussion, let's just get to the root, let's, keeping them to the goal instead of getting into the, oh my God, I'm so worried now, I can't think straight, is really important. So I think creating the safe space to have common conversations, important conversations, and figuring out the root cause is absolutely essential. And if you don't create the safe space, especially in some of the cultures I've worked in China or India, if you don't create the safe space, people are not that comfortable in sharing the actual root causes.
I just want to add a couple of things. A fantastic story, Ashok, really. Lots of facets of how we should behave as a human, as a leader, and then how you take care of people around you, right? Couple of things I want to add, and this is something I've learned in my journey, the art of storytelling itself. So it is an art where even if the situation is hard, like Ritu said, you should have the safe space, but the way you say that makes a huge difference to people who are participating in that story, right? So that is one. The second thing I really liked was there was a purpose, right? It was very clear. So having a purpose in mind, like you said, the accountability, and then kind of fostering a mindset that goes to solutioning versus saying we are in a bad place. Somehow positive energy gets created, and none of us know we have that within us. But when it's stated in that way, like the safe space, positive mindset, the story and the facts with a purpose, people do rally and results do get accomplished. So I just want to bring that out.
Yeah, well said, Nag. Thank you for adding that. And with that, I would like to move on to our next question. And this is going to be for you, Ritu. So the question is, can you talk about how a mentor influenced your career and what should one expect from a mentor? And what do you think are good qualities of a mentee? What are the expectations that a mentee should have?
Sure. I'm just going to write that mentee thing. And if I forget in my discourse, please stop me. Okay. So I've had several really good mentors. I've been very blessed to have them, which helps me carry on this journey of being a mentor myself, because I wouldn't be sitting here on this panel without those mentors being in my life. So I had several, and I was having a really hard time thinking about who was the best, but I'll talk about the person who's currently on my mind. So as Divya knows really well, the number of women leaders in the VP and above space is very limited. So a lot of times I am in discussions, or I am part of a team that has other vice presidents or SVPs who are all middle-aged men. Again, I respect men very much, but I'm just going to talk about the women leadership for a second. And so I had a boss, I want to say about 5 or 8 years ago, and very seasoned leader. And he came over, and I was the only vice president who was a woman. All my other peers were men, and it was really funny because he noticed things. I didn't ask him to be a mentor. He noticed things about me, and in my one-on-one, he told me, he said, Ritu, you are not their mom. Why are you ordering lunch for them? Why are you always taking the notes in the meeting? You're spoiling them, right? Now think about it. I never thought that, what does it matter? Like, nobody else took notes. I wanted to remember things. I wanted to follow up and close things. So I always was the one opening my laptop, starting. Nobody asked me to do it. I just used to do it. Right. And I mentor and coach a lot of women, but I'm also a woman and I'm still learning. Right. So I started observing, oh yeah, I'm always ordering lunch. And so these were really small things, if you think that the mentor did for me. But he taught me that I had a seat at the table, not because I'm good at ordering lunch. Maybe I do that really well too. But the point is that I had a seat of the table and I had to be seen as an equal, right? And what I was doing was being their administrative staff, as long as being their equal. I was taking on the burden. Nobody had asked me to do so. So that was profound for me. Another mentor, and I know you said one, but I'm going to take this other mentor's name because I know there are early managers on the call. So I was, a QA lead at PeopleSoft and got the best bonuses, got the best, hikes, but nobody was making me a manager. And I was struggling, and I was like, why, nobody's mentoring me. I don't know I didn't even know the word mentor at that point. I was like, okay, I need some help. I need some advice, right? So I went to this lady who was head of release, and I said, you know what, I'm getting really good reviews. Everything seems to be going well, but they are not making me a manager, even though I'm asking them that I'm ready. And she said, it's unfortunate, but in this world, you have to look the part before people give you the part. And I said, I don't know what that means. And, she basically took me shopping this weekend. And if you look at me, I'm like 4'7", very petite woman, right? And I used to wear whatever I thought was great. And she took me shopping. She said, this is the kind of stuff you have to wear. You have to look the part of being a manager for you to be able to get there. And you won't believe that. And because that's the world we live in, whether it's good or bad, right? I always used to think it's about how hard I work and how I work. I never thought it was about my image and my persona, which I thought there was nothing wrong with my persona. But, I've evolved too, right? And dressing up, a personal hygiene, how you look, how you present yourself is a big part to play. So these are a couple of the mentors that come to mind, early days, as well as even, about 10 years ago. So you asked me, what should mentees look for, right? I think mentees need to have an open mind, because when you go to somebody for advice or mentorship, really good mentors can see what you are not doing. And if you're not willing to hear feedback and improve yourself, you might as well not go, right? So mentees need to identify who they want to mimic, right? So you have to identify who you want to be. You don't want to, when you're in the middle of, like at PeopleSoft, we had amazing leaders. At Salesforce, I've worked with some of the best leaders in my lifetime, right? But I picked and choose, like, this is something of this person I like. This is something of this person I like. And then I went to tell them, like, hey, I want you to mentor me, because I've seen that you listen really well. I've seen you provide strategic direction really well. I've seen that you're an empathetic leader. And these were qualities that I identified as a mentee that were important to me. Being an authentic leader was very important to me from the very beginning. right? So what I did was I identified people, and some people accepted it and some people were like, no, I don't have time, right? But when that's how you select who you want to be mentored by. So you figure out who you want to emulate or what aspects you want to emulate, and then you select your mentees and have that conversation. Two, you need to have an open mind. So when you're saying you want feedback, people give you feedback and then you're like, no, I disagree with that person. Like that person said, okay, the first person I went to said, when I said the image thing, she said, you're too short, you're wearing all these flowers and all this stuff, like it just takes away from your personality. You need to wear different kinds of clothes and present. Your shoes should be different, the way your hair should be cut is different. If I blocked her out of my head and said, no, that's not important. So you have to be willing to listen, and then you need to pick up what you think will work for you, because not everything a mentor says might work in your situation. So you need to pick for that. Thirdly, I think it's very important for mentees to hear the river of life. What is that journey that mentor has gone through, and why are they suggesting something? So sometimes mentors will tell you, like, do this, or, I think this is how you should channel it. And you should find out the context of why they're saying that. Because the experience can tell you, like Ashok sent some profound things here. And he gave us some examples of why he thinks a certain way, right? So learning from the mentor's mistakes is a very big part, and mentors don't always share their mistakes. So I think it's really important to have that conversation and say, okay, why is it that you're like channeling me like this? Why are you like, a lot of people when they switch jobs, and let's say they were in my org at some point and they've switched jobs, and they want to know if they should take this other job with this stock and this comp and blah, blah, blah. And I'm mentoring them. I tell them why they should or should not do as a recommendation, right? But I also share with them where I've fallen on my face, right? Especially with startup companies, what's worked and what's not worked. I don't know if I'm at time, so I don't want to take more time than that. But that's what I would think. And if I miss something, let me know.
No, this was great, Ritu. And my takeaway would be constructive criticism, taking that, and also having that kind of relationship and trust with your mentor is very important. So thank you, Ritu, for sharing that with us. Moving on to our third question.
Sumit, may I add to what Ritu has said? Is it okay to add the time? Okay.
Sure.
Ritu, the research has shown that the emotional quotient of women at the workplace is higher than that of men. And today, research has also shown that EQ is more important than IQ to be successful. Yeah. And when I say successful, it's not in terms of transactions, but in terms of the emotional content and building relationships. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Ashok. And this is a new thing that all the corporates are training their employees on, emotional quotient. So I can relate with that. So moving on to our next question, and this is for you, Nag. What type of coping skills are needed to go through the ups and downs of a career? And this question is very relevant in today's time when a lot of people are getting laid off. So if it would be great if you can share your views on that.
Thanks, Sumit. And a lot of what Ritu and Ashok said actually plays in it, right? When she said river of life, it was just coming to my head saying, yeah, that's what it is. The river of life doesn't flow smooth, right? There are rocks in the way. There are trees that have fallen down. There are tributaries, and there are waterfalls. So goes through high, goes through low, goes through flat. That's really, and somehow when you said that, Ritu, it hit my head that way. So I think that's really what it is. I'll tell you, I've gone through a lot in my life. I always believe that you're under construction, maybe because I belong to the Chicagoland area where you have two seasons, right? Snow and construction. So it's really kind of shown me that there are some real key attributes that we as humans need to kind of think through when we go through these highs and lows. First, I would always say this, right? Never discount yourself. because the moment you think low of yourself, nobody is going to think of you higher than you think of yourself. You have to showcase yourself. You have to use certain words even. Even now, I think the way we grew up in India, many times we say, I hope, I think. Those words are taken as doubtful words, right? So even just plain language, be up to speed with that. And like you said, given these times, those words are critical now. I hope something will work out for me. I think they know I did a good job, right? Those are not good things to think about, right? So that's one thing. Another thing I would say is when you're in times of low, try and spend your time with things that motivate you. That could be your hobbies, that could be being with your family, that could be pursuing another interest. Because whenever you drive positive energy with yourself, somehow you stimulate more positive energy in how you showcase yourself. So that is something you should seriously think about. And like I said, I've gone through the journey. So what I'm saying is what I've experienced, right? So that's one thing. Another thing I would say is make connections that matter. This is one of the mentors who gave me this advice, saying, Nag, no point just joining this network, this network, this network. You're just amongst a bunch of people. But if you really take a view of it, listen carefully, observe the people, reach out to people, make connections that matter. Because these people are there in your life for a reason. Whether they know it or whether you know it, they will help navigate you as long as you are ready to be navigated, right? So that's another thing. Third thing I would say, and this I've done purposefully, I draw my career map. And we all drive on highways every day. There are exits, and sometimes you run out of gas, right? And sometimes there's something in front of you. So draw your career map, think about where you want to go and why that matters. Integrate that with your home life. You cannot just say, I want to do this, because there is reality in front of you too. And for me, I've got the 4 parents. I just cannot say I'm moving somewhere else, right? I need to take care of them. I've got kids who are growing up. So there are certain constraints you have to be aware of, but then your career map should be there for you, in front of you, for where you want to go, right? So it'll help you navigate. And then with those connections, you can move the way you want to move, right? So that's the third thing I would say. The fourth thing I would say is flexibility, right? So you're going this way, always seek to learn, right? It doesn't always have to be upward. Sometimes it's good to grow sideward to grow up, or take a deviation to get to the main road. No point saying there's an accident and just waiting for you to grow. You're not going to move. So get out, navigate, move out, get in, right? Indian roads teach you that. So, so that's something you should really, really think about in terms of navigating, setting your goals, being confident about yourself, setting, finding connections that matter, asking questions of your friends and people who care for you, and saying, this is where I'm thinking I want to go. And there the think is okay, because you're not sure. And then someone can tell you, I know you, this is typically how you do what you do. Maybe you shift this a little bit, or just emphasize this a little more. So they'll give you nudges that really help you. And nudges in life are the most important, I would say, because by nature, we all follow Newton's second law of motion. And we need somebody to give us a little kick on our backside, and then we start doing things a little more effectively and forcefully. So I would say that's what came to my head. Thank you for the river of life. It really helped me think in a different way.
Yeah, and I really related with the nudges part, because that is something that I turn to my close circle time to time, and I generally seek for a nudge here and there. So thank you for adding that, Nag. We have some questions from the audience, but we are short on time, so I'm just gonna take this one. So how did you manage your time between career, self-care, family, friends, and hobbies as a senior executive? Maybe all the three of you could add one point, and then we can move forward. Starting with you, Ritu.
Yeah, so I always talk about this. I think Divya has heard me multiple times talk about this. I don't believe in work-life balance. There is no such thing. I haven't found it in 30 years. So if anybody on this panel or otherwise on the call has it, please let me know what that is, because I haven't done it. What I call it is work-life integration. You figure out how to integrate your work with your life, because some of us, we are very driven, like Nag said. I kind of knew where I want to go, how I wanted to go there. Yes, life threw some stones at me and I had to change the highways a little bit and sometimes go in the internal routes to get there. But the point is, you do that, but there is no work-life balance. I at least have not found it, right? So I prioritize it based on what's happening at that time, right? Work is essential to who I am. I am very passionate about what I do. And my family would not want me to not work, because I would drive everyone around me crazy. So it's important, right? So you have to give that importance. I think things like, and again, no disrespect to anybody, but things like, oh, if the dishes are done exactly within half an hour of eating, I don't really bother, because I tried to be superwoman for some time. And then I was like, you know what should I deprioritize? Can the sink wait for the kitchens to be done tomorrow morning or 2 hours later when my calls are done? Sure. So that's how I kind of integrate my life. I see what is important. If sitting with my husband, who's here only 3 weeks at a time in the US, and having ice cream is important, then I do that instead of doing the dishes. Right. So I think that's how I personally prioritize. Everybody has a different style. I do outsource stuff that I think will take my time away. So if I have calls, like especially with global teams, if I have calls overnight, and therefore, I won't be able to cook, clean, it's going to take my time, and I want to eat dinner with my family, I'll just get it from outside. Now, it's not for everybody, but those are my priorities. And that's something that you have to, talk to your team. Durga Puja time, I block my calendar. That is time that I don't take care of the family. My family knows I'm not in that zone, right? So again, laying the rules of what you want to do, what is your priority at those months, sometimes seasonal things, is something that you need to do. I'll let everybody else speak, because I can speak on this for hours.
Yeah. Now, what is your one tip for like perfect work-life balance as a senior executive?
I agree with Ritu. It is work-life integration. And I think this becomes even more critical as most of us are working remote or in a hybrid way. It is really integrating how you kind of achieve what the outcomes are expected of you at work, while making sure you are there for the family, right? I'll just give you a quick thing, what we do in our house. It's actually kind of funny, but it works. We have process workflows at home. We've got the 4 parents at home. We have to keep them busy. Both dads are 85, both moms are 80 plus, right? So even if I take a simple thing of dishwashing, right? Or cutting vegetables and getting ready for cooking, or doing the laundry and folding the clothes, we kind of divide and conquer, right? Because my wife works, I work, it really works well for us. The other thing I do is I love puzzles. So I give both my dads puzzles to do. And then in the evening, I'll say, how did it go? Both moms love music. So, and I love Indian classical music. So we have a veena at home, we have the thing at home. So my parents play kind of, so I kind of keep them busy and while enjoying my hobbies of music and puzzles. And then this workflow of course, there are bad days. I can't say every day is super. They fall sick, they fall, all that stuff happens. And then you kind of take care, like the Durga Puja day for me, it will be taking them to the hospital or whatever, right? So that happens. But in general, this kind of having fun while getting stuff done has really helped keep them actually active in their old age. And then me feeling that I'm taking care of them, and my wife saying that, yeah, you're good at this stuff. You kind of focus on this. I have my work to do. And like you also said, right, I'll cook doesn't mean that in the next minute, it's all going to be loaded in the dishwasher, right? So having the parents kind of take care of that, I would say work-life integration in different ways is what has worked for me.
Thank you.
I just want to add, I have had the same situation with 4 the two sets of parents staying with me. And what added to more confusion was my parents are Bengali, my in-laws are Telugu. And so I just had to prioritize, like today is Telugu food day, tomorrow is Bengali Majbat, and so on. So you just get organized around it. I think organization is the most important thing.
Thank you. Well said, Ritu. Organization and the integration parts that related with me, because I need to have some time that is my time, even if I have meetings. For example, I cannot skip my morning tea. So even if I have meetings, I'm like, I need to have that with my roommate or with my parents. That small conversation that would keep me going throughout the day. Moving on to you, Ashok. I know we are over time, but what is your tip for a perfect?
Okay, my take is a little different. I do agree with both Nag and Ritu in that it is integration and organizing. In my case, it was a little different because I started my career as a salesperson, and very often you're out of home. And when that happens, the physical connect, the communication, and way back in the 80s, we never had any cell phones. You never had video conferencing or WhatsApp. And till you come back, nobody is sure whether you're dead or alive. Even reaching out over the phone was a very, very complicated process. You could book a call and get the call only after several hours. That was the real life situation. So I made a conscious decision that I would be favoring the family aspect and stay with my family, and would accept roles which do not involve much of travel. And that's exactly what I did. So I think I also integrated, but I took a conscious decision to spend more time with the family.
Yeah. And I remember 35 years, now my father is retired, but 35 years when he was working, we used to get a call at 2 p.m. after his lunch. He used to ask what everybody is doing. So I can definitely relate to, making time for that call. And especially when you guys were working, Ashok, you had to do all sorts of arrangements. So yeah. Thank you, Parthiban, for the great question. Moving on, we have one more question from Sanjay. How does a leader show a trait? So I'm going to read out the whole thing that he wrote. One of the traits of being a leader is showing that you are vulnerable, that even you as a leader doesn't have all the right answers. How does a leader show this trait without making them look weak? Nag, if you could take this, and then Ashok.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a good question, and we are all human, right? And being a human means you are imperfect. Being a human means you don't know all the answers. And being a human means you seek help, right? That's why we are the most advanced species, we call it, until AI comes and becomes greater than us. So we'll see how that goes. So from my perspective, I think I've been very open as a leader. I've very openly talked about what my values are as a leader. And it's very simple. I call myself a happy leader. Happy for me is humble, authentic, passionate, personable, yourself. That's what is happy. And I make sure the team knows that, working with global teams. Leader for me is listen, engage, acknowledge, develop actions, enable the team, reward and recognize, right? So I've used that kind of framework, and it's really helped because everybody can connect to what it's easy to remember, right? And as part of being authentic, as part of being humble, as part of being passionate, as part of being personable, and as part of being yourself, you need to be open. You have to say what you're good at, what you're not good at. How can you connect the dots better? Who can help connect the dots better? Everybody plays a different role in the organization, and together we create what the solution needs to be. So that's kind of a quick answer to the question.
Ashok, would you like to add something?
Yes. So my take on this is that I would ask open questions. I have been in situations where I'm not a domain expert, and I would acknowledge that. People already know about it. There are obviously some other qualities in me for which I have been hired. So I ask them, I tell them that, listen, you are the experts. How is it that I can help when you are already experts? So typically the kind of situations that I have faced are conflict resolution, silo mindset. And there what happens is you get to know what is at stake. And then you ask why, when, what, and so on. Those lead to very open, conversations where people can chip in, and very often the resolution works out. So that's what leadership is all about. Be open, acknowledge that you're vulnerable, tell the others that, when you say that the other man is the expert and I'm guided by you, it, impacts his response. Thank you.
Right.
I want to add one thing. Whatever Nag said totally echoed with me as an authentic leader. And I think one thing is that I have been in situations where I have had to, I've run large quality organizations, right? And if there's a miss and there's, production impact, you basically have to acknowledge and be okay to go and apologize, right, to the customers for the miss. And I think even though, in normal traditional terms, it might be seen as a weakness, I think my orgs really felt that they were supported, that I was not finger pointing at them, but saying, you know what, as the leader of the organization, I apologize to the hit in production. And these are the 20 things we are going to do to make things better next time. So when you as a leader, and when you come across being that vulnerable self and saying, I am not above all, I am not saying it's all my team's fault, because it's, when the team does good, it's mine. And when the team does bad, it's not mine. I think the team really appreciates that, and they don't see it as a weakness. I think mature teams do see it as, wow, our leader is courageous enough to articulate a mistake that has been made, but has a plan of how they're going to make it better. And I think that comes across really strongly.
Right. Thank you, Ritu, for adding that. And I would like to apologize to the audience for being over time. We're gonna dive into the MentorConnect logistics and how you can register. But before that, I'm going to hand it over to Srini for him to introduce IACS. Srini, over to you.
Thank you, Sumit. Again, Ram and Divya had asked me to kind of share what is coming up at IACS. So let me see if I could share my. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, we can see. Okay.
Sai is sharing your screen.
Okay.
Please go ahead and share the screen.
Yeah. Okay. So can you all see this?
Yep.
So, just a quick introduction about IACS, right? See, the IACS is an Indian American organization that is focused for professional and development of diverse leaders in corporate world. The mission is to educate, inspire, and empower, which is to develop the next generation of diverse leaders through networking, best practices sharing, and targeting mentoring. Targeted mentoring. It's more of really where they want to go in next three months or 6 months, where they want to be, and really helping them in that process. That's what IACS mission is all about. So I want to share this. So we have 2 programs coming up. One is the Young Leaders Program, and then we have the Executive Conference. So let me just take quickly about what is this Young Leaders Program is all about. It is for mid-level directors who are already leading a team of people in their corporation. And they are ready to take next step in their career, going to a next level. So we have, we think that they need to be really all rounders in terms of leadership, really also thinking about the corporate finance. How does it affect, the activities and things that they are doing, how to understand the finance part of it as a corporate finance. Then strategy, these are the 3 different workshops we run. The strategy becomes not only overall strategy in the corporate side, but also think about the groups that you are in. How do you strategize? How do you operationally drive this strategy? These are the 3 different workshops we run. And that goes on 11th from 9:30 to 10:30. And then it goes up to 2 o'clock, all these workshops. Then we have an executive conference where senior leaders, mostly senior leaders, participate in this conference. And the purpose again here is sharing the best practices. We take a theme which is relevant and current for the environment we are in, and we talk about in different aspects where different areas where this we are all really coming together and for this issue that we have in hand, right? So this year we are the theme of the conference is thriving and growing. So we have 5 different segments here: CEO perspective, people, business, customers, and technology. We think this the people, business, customer, technology, they're all interrelated. And a CEO perspective is really the overall perspective for a CEO looking at all of these different segments, right? So that, we start the conference at 3 p.m. to 4:30 with the people, where we have diverse HR executives are participating and really talking about different, as you know, work from home and different things are, happening, and in a corporation which is affecting their well-being as well as, their productions and things. So they're all really going to talk about the self-growth as well as how they participate in the company's growth as a people aspect, Then we have reception and dinner where we have Sundaram Nagarajan, CEO of Nordson, and Soma Somsundaram, CEO of ChampionX, is participating and speaking on the CEO perspectives. Arjun Mirda is the moderator there, So then coming on to the next day, after that, on 12th, we have 9:30 to 10:30. We have business, which is cost and growth. So several business executives are participating in this discussion. It is mostly about supply chain issues that we have, increased regulations and inflation, how all of these factors into the business, and what everybody is doing into that, having best practices, and also thinking at the sustainability. Is that an opportunity or is it something, a strain on the business? So how does that affect? So those are the different aspects that will be discussed there. And we have the customers, then we have, how the customer experience is factored into the growth and for an organization, and how different channels they are using and monitoring the customer experience, taking that customer experience and making that operationally within the organization. So those are the aspects that we will be talking about there. Then we have the technology, and we think that whether an industrial company or any company, we think that technology has to be really integrated. It's not about just anymore about just doing CIO parts of it where it is just supporting. It's also part of growth for the organization. So we have several EVPs and CTOs and CIOs participating. Nag is also on the panel there, and it's been moderated by Alvin Broner, who is the CIO of Heidrick & Struggles. This is the overall program that we have. And, we want to, I was talking to Ram, and we wanted to kind of extend this opportunity for at least 3 or 4 members that are would be interested in joining. And this is by invitation only. and we do offer it free for 3 or 4 members for your organization.
We are going to share this file with the audience, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we are short on time, and I have to now pass it over to Srini to talk about MentorConnect. Srini, over to you. Sorry.
No problem. So very quickly, for this year's mentoring program, the registration is open right now. You can go to our website and register. I'll put the link in our chat as well. On our website, there is a guidance document that tells the do's and don'ts and what's the expectations of a mentor and a mentee. Please go through that. The pairing for this year will be complete late May and early June, and so from June we'll start doing the pairings. It'll go on for 6 months till the end of the year, and in between we will do a mid-program get-together with mentees and mentors and have some breakout sessions and a panel. So that'll happen around August. So at the end of the program, we request all the participants to give us feedback. That's very important for us to move forward. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us at info@asci.org or to one of the organizers here. So with that, I pass it on to Divya for talking about the breakout session that we have following this.
Awesome. Well, what a wonderful session. I want to start off by thanking our panelists. You all have been simply fabulous, and the chemistry between all of you really came through. So Nag, Ashok, sorry, Dad, otherwise I'll get beaten up, and Ritu, thank you so much. It's wonderful to have had all of you here. And of course, Srini, there are so many questions piling up. That's what I was doing on the side. On whether you can have online sessions. So maybe next time, online sessions will be something that your organization can consider. But that said, gosh, I've got so many notes out here. Ritu, work-life integration, especially for women, absolutely 100%. I think the audience really agreed here. Nag, love drawing a career map. I think we will definitely, all of us will try it out. We'll probably come back to you with questions, but being happy, what a wonderful way to say humble, authenticity, passionate, personable, and being yourself. Hopefully I got that right. But there were a lot of people asking for some of these nuggets over there. And of course, Dad, you called out accountability, you called out storytelling, you showed us a class in storytelling. And I loved all the pieces that all of you called out, which was around showing confidence, playing your part, being open to criticism, open to feedback. I think our mentees and mentors are going to learn a ton. And I can't wait to open the room, the breakout rooms, for those that want to hear more. But that said, there are a lot more questions where this comes from. So we will post all of this on LinkedIn and also share it via email. For those that want to connect with Nag, Ashok, Srini, as well as Ritu, please join them on LinkedIn. Please connect with them. And what we'll do is move on to the breakout rooms right now. So I'm going to pause the recording. But before I do that, last but definitely not the least, it's very, very hard for someone this young to host a panel and keep them engaged throughout. So Sumit, heartiest congratulations on one of your first panels, and we hope you do many, many more with ASCI. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining and making us a part of your Saturday. We'll now move to the rooms. So if you're on YouTube or other formats, join us on Zoom for the sessions. Thank you all.